Hi, everybody. It's Bob Ost, and it's Friday, so it's the TRU Community Gathering. Once again, I think this is number 196 consecutive weeks of doing this. Started April 17th, 2020, as a response to COVID and shutdown, and we opened up a room. I mean, it wasn't so easy. I'm not saying it like it was very easy. I was very resistant. I had no idea what virtual was. I didn't know what Zoom was, but somebody sort of like talked me off the ledge, and I opened up a room, and here we've been doing this now every Friday. It used to be 4:30. Now we start at 5 o'clock, and we actually start our conversations at 5:30. But we open up early, and people come and they gather, and we have managed to maintain a community. Interesting thing that happened with that is that we used to be a New York centric company. Everything that we did was live and in New York and in Manhattan. Usually, I occasionally drifted into a borough. Didn't happen very often. But then since we opened up this room and we started doing this virtually, we've had people come in from all over the world and all over the country. We've been talking about a lot of stuff over the past 3.5. It's actually we're almost having our 4th year anniversary of shutdown, guys. Isn't that exciting? But we've been talking about all sorts of things over the years, and now we're trying to get back to normal. And one of the things that's sort of popped up for us is we have we have young people amongst us. We have you can look at me, you can tell I'm not a young person, but we have young people that are uh, aspiring to be active in theater and want to be professional. And we used to do something called YPAC. We used to have it was like it started off, the idea was like a junior board. But it was an opportunity for young people to be actively involved in TRU and Theater Resources Unlimited. So it's it's been on hiatus for a while, but I've gotten interest from some of the younger members of TRU's community, and I'm very thrilled to sort of officially make today an official announcement that we are back. YPAC is back. YPAC is back, and they're doing the dance. Look at them doing the dance. They're doing it. So I'm going you to meet 4 of the people that are now active members and leaders in our youth. Well, we're going to talk about what we want to, what we used to call it Young Professionals and Artists Circle. Now I think you have ideas about another way of actually framing it, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But you're going to meet Andrew Beck, Camila, Camila Grunberg, Burak Tatar, and Jordan Richards, and they're going to give you their vision of what we're going to be doing in the next, hopefully, year, 2 years, 3 years. Hopefully we're going to keep this going for a long time. Um, I'm going to say something obvious but important. Um, in order for well, TRU has been around for 30 years. Right there, I'm probably surprising a lot of people. We've actually been doing this for 30 years. I founded TRU 30 years ago. Um, in order for TRU to stay viable and to stay relevant, it's really important that we bring younger people into the organization. And so in a sense, Andrew, Camila, Burak, Jordan, and the other people that are jumping in and making this happen are doing a great service to our organization. Um, let's meet them. Do we have a particular order? I think the two what do you call yourselves, guys? Executive
Co-executive chairs. Is that
co-executive
right?
chairs.
Barack?
Yes. So Barack and Jordan, you're the co-executive chairs. And as such, I will let you lead the conversation and introduce yourselves.
How about we sandwich it? How about we do Barack first and then Camilla and Andrew, and I'll anchor us.
It sounds cozy, sure.
Great.
So
All right.
Barack, who are you? How do I know you?
Well, my name is Burak Tatar. I'm originally from Istanbul, Turkey, and I've been in New York for 16 years now. And I know you know me because of Edifi. He got into this program with you in 2020. I think It was right before the pandemic or right after, somewhere around there.
I think it was
And
actually before, might have been before, because I seem to remember seeing him live and in person at some point.
could be. But so I started joining your Friday meetings here and there, and I became very interested, and Eddie told me to get involved more, and then he encouraged, and then I did. So I think last year or so, year and a half, actually 2 years, I've been more active.
And I'm very grateful for it.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about what you are aspiring to in theater. Actually, theater and film. Let's be clear about this. TRU is actually we're open. We're open to people that are not in theater. We're perfectly open to that. There are other arts that are equally noble.
So I studied acting at HP Studio. I did their full-time program, and from there on, I got interested in writing and directing and actually producing. So I did a couple short films and then short plays, and then it just grew. And I met Eddie 2018, and we decided to form a film theater production company. And ever since we've been just trying to do it, trying to make
And
this.
the thing that we started to work together last year on a project that it didn't come to fruition, but I was very impressed with your technical knowledge. I mean, you actually have some really good, strong film background, and as a director, and also as I think you're an editor, which actually sort of reminds me of Jordan as well. Come to think of it. So
I do camera work, DP, when I have to.
when you have to, you see, that's interesting you say that, because I thought it was something you loved.
Well, I love it. I mean, as long as I'm involved in the arts, whether it's theater or film, I like again, I started as an actor, but intuitively I use the instinct of acting, observing, and started expressing myself in other forms of arts. And the camera is now, I've been using it over 10 years. It's one of the tools that I use. But yeah, I think my interest being here, and thank you, Bob, for encouraging me to be part of YPAC, is because yes, we do need young theater professionals. We need a community where we can learn from people like you, Bob, and the others in this organization, and exchange ideas from people like Andrew, Jordan, Camila, and the rest, and get together, do things together. As you said, we are the generation that's going to work in theater world. So
And allow me to retire.
yes.
So please.
I'll see our show.
We're going to go to Camila next, who is quite a find for TRU, because she's actually interested in things that TRU was interested in. What are your goals, Camila?
So hi everyone, my name is Camila Grunberg. I'm a junior at Barnard College of Columbia University, pursuing my degree in educational studies. And I'm very happy to be here. I'm currently an intern at Concord Theatricals with their client relations and community engagement department. And previous experience includes working on PR projects with Davenport Theatricals, that's Ken Davenport's production company, on different Broadway projects. And then also educational leadership positions with the City Congregation for Humanistic Judaism, among other things. I hope to continue developing my career as a producer and executive in the entertainment industry, using my background in education to enhance communication and engagement in future endeavors that I take part in. And I'd like to thank Bob for creating TRU 30 years ago to create this space for all of us. I started coming to gatherings and events a few months ago, and it's been such a great community to be part of. I'm very excited to extend the invitation to the younger generation to join in and partake in all of the programming you have and everything, and foster mentorship and professional development opportunities for young professionals. So.
Well, let me just state it for those of you who don't know, but I started TRU originally with the thought of basically helping producers. So we originally were a producers organization. Over the years, I discovered something. I'm a playwright, composer, lyricist. I discovered I was a producer. And I discovered that other people who were like in the same situation as me, artists looking to find opportunities, were probably going to do better producing themselves than waiting for somebody to eventually discover them. So producers for us not only includes commercial producers and people that actually want to produce other people's work, but it's also self-producing artists. We always call it self-producing artists spa, because producing yourself is incredibly relaxing. So that's kind of a background for who we actually are. Right now, we are as much an organization for artists as we are for producers. And basically what we also want to do is just help everybody understand the business. Andrew, you run a theater company. Tell us more about what you're doing.
I do. Hello. I'm Andrew J. Beck. I am the producing artistic director of Out of Bounds Productions. We're a gritty, hole-in-the-wall, guerrilla, do-it-yourself, fuck you theater company in Brooklyn.
He's not overstating it. They really are gritty.
No.
Gritty and fuck you.
We've been around in whatever iteration since 2018. That's when this iteration of Out of Bounds Productions started. We really started as Blue Box Theater Company back in 2012 when a lot of us graduated college, all my peers from theater school and all that, and we came in and we just did the shows that we wanted to do because no one was doing them. I'm from Long Island, so we started out there. And if anyone knows anything about Long Island theater, they know it's where Annie and Grease go to die. I feel like the only shows that are there are the musicals everyone's seen 80,000 times. So there was a hardcore need for theater that had some grit to it. And we tried to do that in spades. So we were in a great position early on, and we're very grateful for having been in this position. But we had the home theater, Studio Theater Long Island. They actually paid for our productions, and we came on to them as a secondary sort of season. So we were like their off weird season. We didn't make any money on these shows. We didn't get paid ourselves. We did them because we wanted to build the theater company's portfolio up. And honestly, I'm glad I did that now, because now 2018 goes by, and we move into this new mode and everything, and we are doing shows like Gergis's Motherfucker with the Hat. We adapted Night of the Living Dead on stage. We've done Bogosian Suburbia, the Jennifer Haley's The Nether. You name a fucked up play, we've probably done it or have considered doing it. Then COVID happened, which is, I feel like the big conversation, the big three words, then COVID happened, that our generation is going to take. So we lost our space from that, and we were kind of on our own with no money, nothing to do. So we decided to go back to our roots and do fucked up whatever we want festivals. So we had a very, very safe, COVID safe outdoor theater festival. So we did a 2-day festival of one acts, Shakespeare's. We had bands come and play. And then after that moment, I realized, well, I'm probably good at producing. So then TRU happened. TRU came in through my life, and that was great because my father was an old member of TRU. He's been a member of TRU for a long, long time. So I've known of what TRU has done for a while. And me and Bob kind of spoke for a while, made a connection after my father passed away at the end of 2021. And I just chose that TRU because of that and because of Dad's love for it. I chose that this is a great organization for me to hone everything with. And now, as far as what we're doing current day with Out of Bounds Productions, in June of last year, we started what I call the Warehouse Works reading series. So we're in a big old Bushwick warehouse that's converted from lofts into like this big warehouse feeling. So we can fit 40, 45 people in there, and we just read plays. So since June, we've done it every month, and we've, I think the number is 31 plays of varying lengths and everything. One of them is now being filmed into a movie starring Dean Edwards from Saturday Night Live. A couple other people I don't remember. One of them we're producing on our own, which we're very excited about. We have our first New York City, Manhattan debut coming up May 10th to June 2nd. And that's going to be at Theater Lab on 36th, the big old white space. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but yeah, it's a really, really cool, surreal, messed up play about AI. It's called A Groundbreaking Achievement of Outrageous it's a very long title. A Groundbreaking Achievement of Outrageous Importance That People Scroll By Barely Impacted is the name of the play. It's written by Jake Shore. He's pretty up and coming.
I was just humming that this morning.
Broadway theater scene. And yeah, so the last year we've just been trying to hustle and grind and open ourselves up to different things, to different mediums. The medium is the message, as we all know. So we're trying to film stuff. We're trying to branch out into branded content. We don't want to just do theater at this point. We want to move into different forms of telling our story and doing the messed up, fucked up things that we want to do.
Did you put your website in the chat? Because I know if you go to his website, you'll get it immediately.
I will say Bob actually coined our little tagline that we like to use. We always hashtag "We like the weird shit," and that's from Bob's mouth to my Instagram. So yeah, that's me. I'm very happy to be a member of TRU. Very, very honored and grateful to be here talking to you about how hard it is to do what we do. Okay.
That's actually we've been talking about that for 30 years. Just so you know, it was the same conversation 30 years ago, guys.
Yep. Now everything is more inflated and it's harder to get money. So there's that too.
So I'm gonna give Jordan a chance to introduce himself, and then I'm gonna ask you guys some specific questions. We're gonna actually pull it a little bit more in terms of what your goals are for TRU and for YPAC. Jordan, tell us a little bit about your background.
Hi guys, my name.
Other than hurting your elbows in an off-Broadway show.
Right, yeah, I did. I spoiled that one a little too early. I usually keep that one in my back pocket for a bigger reveal later on. Hi guys, my name is Jordan Richards. I'm an actor first, I guess, but I'm also a writer and a director. I'm from South Florida, Broward specifically, if that rings a bell to anybody. My cousin's here. He just gave a little one of this. Like, anyway, I studied at University of Georgia. I studied theater and psychology, and then I transferred and got my BFA in acting at Florida State University. While I was there, I had several shows that I wrote, went up, fully produced, and I also directed several shows. Had like a little theater company that was just running shows out of my house at the time. And then I was I think the first undergrad to direct. Technically, I co-directed with an MFA student one of FSU's main stage season when COVID happened. So I actually seized it because COVID happened and they lost all the rights to the musicals. And I was like, let me do one of my plays. Anyway, that's the long story. But since coming to New York, I have performed in several off-Broadway shows. I have also just recently made my New York City playwriting debut, which my final show is tomorrow at 5 p.m. at the Chain Theater. That is closing night. I am part of the Chain Theater Winter One Act Festival. So that's my New York City playwriting debut, and I also directed this one. So I've directed a couple plays, and the other major project that I just recently completed was just yesterday, I wrapped my first feature-length film, playing the lead character. So that was emotional, and I'm still reeling from it. And then TRU has helped me in a lot of ways. I'll just explain real quick that TRU helped me produce my first ever short film that I am so in love with. And that looks way more like it costs way more than it really did, due to TRU's amazing connections and help and support, and Bob calling in favors for me, which was the nicest thing ever. Yeah, TRU has also helped with, I've been in their writer producer speed date several times, and because of that, I have made such valuable connections, and like Bob said, mentorships of people who I was also just recently in TRU's reading of Rolling with the Punches, which Eben was the technical director for. And yeah, that is pretty much everything. One last thing I wanted to mention was that I have to leave around 6:45-ish tonight, just because I have a family thing I have to get to.
Oh, 6:45 is fine. I mean, hopefully I'll be cooking dinner at 6:45. So.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to mention one last thing. May I?
Sure.
I am one of YPAC's co-executive chairs, along with Burak and Michelle Reese. And my specific departments that I'm overseeing is going to be literary development and also actor inclusion. Speaking of which, that department is chairless currently. And Juliet, you had mentioned that you're an actress. So talk to me at some point about that. Okay. That's everything. Sweet, thumbs up. That was funny.
Okay, so Camila, you didn't actually mention what your title is with or what your function is with YPAC. So, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna define YPAC for everybody, because there are a couple of comments about what is it, what's YPAC. So.
Yes, I'll be leading fundraising, events, and education initiatives.
Fundraising, events, and I mean, at one time that was about all YPAC did was fundraising and events. So I'm excited. I have no idea what you guys have planned. I'm like, it's yours, guys. Do it. Go do it. So let's start with YPAC, what it stands for. It originally stood for Young Patrons and Artists Circle. I know you guys had a conversation and you weren't really comfortable with the word patrons. So I think where we're at right now is young professionals and artists. And you didn't like circle. You said collective? I got an email from one of you.
I'm not sure. I saw this email thread of us discussing changing the name, and to be honest, I don't know who started it. I don't know what it stands for right now currently, but if anybody wants to chime in that knows the answer, I would love to hear it.
Okay, so essentially, let's just say I'm comfortable calling it right now Young Professionals and Artists Circle, because patrons has a connotation that might not necessarily be what your goals are. What I understand from you guys is what you really want to do is create a forum, a community. You know, TRU has our community, but you have a sub-community, a community where people can sort of empower each other and deal with issues of being early career. I do have to tell you though, the issues of being an early career in theater pretty much were the same 30 years ago. It's just getting a leg up, finding opportunities. And the answer that I found 30 years ago was community. Was basically making opportunities for you to meet people that have the experience that you aspire to. So who wants to jump in and really talk about what you think what are the challenges of being young and trying to get into any of the arts, whether it's theater or film or whatever. Some of it might be obvious, but I think we just want to talk about it. So Burak, you're the only one who has your mic on, so you take it.
All right, actually, I was really looking forward to hear Andrew first, because he's got a theater company over 10 years. I can't wait to. Would you like to go first, Andrew?
You've just been
Sure. Sure. Um, Essentially, we started out the theater company. I started out as an actor first. Sure, we all did. I still consider myself an actor first, although I don't really do much of that anymore. Um, so we we were in a position where we lived a little further from the city. The state of musical theater at that time was a little lackluster. We I started out as a musical theater person, like musical theater singer, all of that. And honestly, college just kind of like knocked it out of me. So we wound up doing the plays that we were reading in college that we really wanted to see, and we would go down these rabbit holes of reading these messed up plays, and we would try to top each other with the weird plays. So I think the main thing is just the thing that really made me want to start going down the road of being a producer and having a theater company is just that love of it. Like I found myself not being able to function the right way if I'm not like looking down a call sheet or like sending out a rehearsal info or something like that. And I know that's weird to say, but um, you just if you're early, if you're lucky enough to find that in yourself early, then you have to just go down that path. So that's what we kind of did. We kind of we didn't have money. We didn't take no for an answer. We had emails out to every theater on Long Island that would house us, let us do something there. We didn't know anything about LLCs or any of the paperwork. We thought our shows were the most artistic things in the world. Your life will be changed if you see our show, and it's all the rose colored glasses, and in a way you can't lose that. To really start in what you're doing, you have to just do it, and that's kind of what we've done. And over time, people will see you, and just the patience is unfortunately a huge thing, and the money is unfortunately a huger thing. Um, I mean, this industry is notorious for the rich are the ones who are successful, and the people who are poor are the ones who are struggling and maybe can get successful. It's very unfortunate truth in this industry.
Well, that's kind of
And
that's a truth in most industries,
Yeah.
but I want to say in defense of theater, there are a lot of successful people in theater who aren't really making money, that really aren't rich. They raise money sometimes. I mean, everybody has this idea that producers are like the power team of theater, and producers they're struggling as hard as the rest of us. They really are.
yeah,
And the other thing that I always remind people of, which is like a shocking thing, is producers tend to be the last people to get paid in theater.
mhm.
So, they
And
put
producers
everything.
are also arguably care about it a lot more than other people on the boards because they're the ones putting the work in, trying to find the money and organizing it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Burak, do you want to add anything to this? Oh, well, Jordan's you take it. You're
Is
unmute.
that okay, Burak, if I take it? Sweet. So to go back to your question, Bob, I'd say what I think the current issue is, and was the issue that I was facing and that I see other people my age facing that are currently graduated, is just about making the right kinds of connections and the right people to meet and who to meet and where to go. And so I got lucky really, really early on. The first guy I met introduced me to John. John introduced me to you. You were my
Oh,
third connection.
John Land.
John Land, yes. John Land, and then John Land connected me to you. So what I think, and I'm going to tie this back into at least what my objective is going to be as my co-executive chair of YPAC and what I would like to do. I know that there are other branches that have specific other goals, and I will support them however I can. But anyway, what my intentions are is to create a network and to connect with, I'm particularly passionate about the actor inclusion and the literary development. Those are my two favorite things in the world. And so I think what it is about going to these small time festivals like the Chain Theater Festival that I'm a part of right now, and seeing all of these young actors, all of these young playwrights who this is their first thing that they're being able to put up in New York. And these are just the environments that people like me need to be in, to hand out my business card, to connect them, to bring them into TRU and connect them with the people who, once they show their resources or their things that they've created to the right people, something can get kickstarted for them, you know? And so I think what TRU can do to both tackle that issue of young professionals having a kind of a hurdle to jump over getting into this industry in the beginning. And really quick, while I'm on that, especially about actors, because ever since COVID, the amount of auditions that are, and in fact, almost all auditions are just self-tapes. And you have lost a vital element of coming into the room and introducing who you are for that 30 seconds before and after your audition, where a casting director can actually get to know you. And also what COVID has done is that it has allowed casting directors to view thousands of participants in what otherwise would have been able to view 100. So it makes our probability much smaller, and it gives us less room to show who we are personally. And so it's harder to make those connections. So that is something that I'm going to personally tackle with trying to get more representation of actor inclusion and find a way to bring them more into TRU and what they can serve as TRU. Anyway, so that is all something that I think YPAC will be able to help solve. And yeah, to speak on a little bit of what we've already discussed, we still are getting organized and synced up together. But we've already discussed ideas of using our resources to establish meetings of professionals who will be able to meet in person or Zoom meetings as well. And people will be able to come in that. And young professionals will be able to come in for maybe $5, come sit in and get advice. And that will be a method of fundraising so that we can then put money towards staging important plays by diverse voices that we're trying to uplift and support and include within TRU. We're also reaching out to other, like Outta Theater Company, the Aurelians, that we're already sort of, we have a member in YPAC that's on the board of the Aurelians already. So it's more about, what my viewpoint is melding our resources together, young professionals, recognizing young professionals, and rather than divvying up all of these theater companies, seeing what we can do to bring everybody together and create the best possible product with everyone's resources combined. And yeah, that's the end of my comment.
Well, very, very articulate, very well said. Kate wants to know what we mean by young. It's kind of an arbitrary thing, and it's kind of it's a line that moves back and forth a lot. But generally speaking, YPAC has defined themselves as being 40 years or younger. Do you still feel that way, guys? Do you want to keep the bar just flexible, or do you want to be?
No, I think when people age
out,
out, we got to kick them out. When people age
Yeah,
out, they're
me and
done.
Burak don't have
Exile.
too much longer. We were talking about this, me and him. We got only a couple of years, then you young bucks.
No, I don't feel that way at all. But that's not something I'm even thinking
I'm
about
just
right
kidding.
now.
well, on an application, if I say somebody's joining TRU and I say, check here if you want to be part of YPAC, do you want me to define it in any way?
Blood test.
Blood test? Okay, that works for me.
We'll talk about that as a board, and then we'll get back to you on that.
Okay, so Kate, we don't really know yet what we mean by young, but so I don't know. I think the intention is just to bring in people that are not going to age out. I mean, somebody that's not my age. Let's put it that way. How about we define it as somebody that's younger than Bob? Because of what I said earlier, which is basically we want a community to exist that can continue going forward when some of us retire. So, is youngest age of a person or new? Actually, this is an interesting conversation in and of itself. What is young? What constitutes young? Jane wants to know, are we talking young age or young professionally? Do you guys have any thoughts about that? We don't have to be definitive about it today, but we could just hear your thoughts. What is young to you? I'm going to ask Camila to answer that one.
I mean, I think TRU has a lot of resources for for individuals who are young professionally. If you're new to the industry, there's so much material available at TRU. So I do think we should like anchor ourselves in like a younger age demographic, considering that there usually is a correlation that you're new to the industry when you're also a younger person. So I think it's fair to keep it under 40, as it previously was. But yeah, but this is also a conversation that can continue offline.
Oh, it moved up to under 40. It was under 30 originally.
It was under 30. Oh, okay. Now it's under 40.
Yeah. I think under 40 allows us to have people like Andrew and Burak. Okay, so
I thought it was always under 40. I never knew there was an under 30 version.
Yeah, I thought it was always under 42.
Well, 12 years ago when we started this, it started with the same conversation we're having now. It's like, how do you define it? Where do you draw the line? And that line was moving until finally somebody said, okay, we're going to do 40. So it's just making a choice. It's like anything else in life or in your career. Nothing's going to happen unless you commit to it. So you just at some point you say, okay, this is what it's going to be, and it doesn't have to be in stone. So. So young age, I think, is what we're talking about, Jane, but young professionally as well, except for the fact that you have a lot of people in TRU who are new to the business at age 50. You know, it's very, I don't know, it's a very slippery slope. I don't know. I think it's just a question of making a mutual decision. Sort of like in society, you know, you actually decide what the laws are going to be. That's the only way you can assure that everybody's not going to kill each other. Although that's not working anymore in our country, but that's another story. So let me ask whether you have goals. Jordan was very articulate about his specific goals. Andrew, Camila, and Burak. Do you have any specific goals that you're okay, Camila?
I can go. I think I come to the project from a slightly different perspective. As someone I don't identify as an actor. I don't like acting. I love the producing, the business of theater, making theater happen. And so I'm very excited to explore that avenue as well. And I think it's a creative, so being an early professional in the entertainment industry is interesting because there isn't one path to follow. There's a lot of options, a lot of different ways you can go, a lot of paving your own path. And so I'd love to help create guidance in that regard. And just when there isn't one path to follow that's like already paved for you, like where can you go? What are the options? What kind of steps should you take to get to where you want to be? I'm also really interested in financial literacy and teaching finance to creative professionals. I think we need to be comfortable with money. We need to feel comfortable with finances. There can't be a fear of money in the arts. And so I'd love to work on that too, and teach what you need to do to be able to find financial security and really create a career in the arts. I'm very excited. But yeah, and creating community, as everyone has said, I think is pivotal and central to any initiative we have.
Kate mentions
I just want to say I'm like Camila's biggest fan. I think she is so brilliant, and I think she's going to be such a wonderful and helpful addition to YPAC, like especially in terms of organization and everything that she just said about financial literacy to actors and creative professionals. That's like everything all of us need. That is our weakest link across the board, I'm pretty sure. I could only speaking for myself maybe and my type.
I think there's some truth in that. Yeah, we actually talk a lot about that, and it's not even just with young people. It's also with artists at any age. I've been working. I've been on a mission for like 30 years to get people to stop saying that. Oh, I don't want. I'm just an artist. I don't want to know about the business. What do you mean you don't want to know about the business? What? And then when you sign a contract and you say, "Oh, they screwed me," it's like, no, you didn't understand what you were signing. So
I have a quick question for Jordan and Camila. Camila, did you start as an actor or no?
I mean, in high school, I was Sally and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, but I don't consider myself an actor. That was
Jordan,
like
I know you did, right?
my first and last role.
So I did too, and I wonder if you got the same reaction from your theater friends, from your actor friends, when you told them you were interested in other aspects of theater. You wanted to pursue other things in theater. What was their reaction to you? Because the reaction to me was, "What are you talking about? You can only act." That was the reaction to me. So
I got kind of lucky in terms of directing. I got asked to direct something first, like for high school thespians, when you take it to whatever the competition was. So I kind of found my love through that. But for writing, yeah, I like showed it to someone and they were like, "What are you, a pretentious asshole?" No, why would anybody read your words out loud? Which I feel like a lot of writers get, a lot of young writers get that. And that is a huge hurdle that I know personally I needed to overcome in the beginning. And it's been a long journey for me as a writer. So I think that's something that ideally I would like to help with in this arrangement that we're having.
I was very lucky. I wrote my first play when I was 14. And everybody was like, "Whoa, you wrote a play?" They put it on in my school. So I never had that hurdle that you're talking about. So it's interesting to me.
There if you get exposed, if your first thing you get exposed to a lot of negative energy or you should just keep quiet. It can really hold you back. But it being embraced right from the beginning, that sounds like really encouraging and really great. Camila, did you have something?
Yeah, just to add on, I think in school, what's presented to you is what you see from the audience. So it's acting. You see the director a little bit, you see, whatever, you see the set, but you don't see what the theater teacher's doing behind the scenes, like, securing the rights for the show, the licensing, all of that, logistics, budgeting. So I think it's also important to provide those educational experiences, and that there's so many career paths in the arts that aren't acting, and that even though acting is super important and there is no theater without actors, there's a gazillion other jobs that together create the collage. And so
I want to say that the least understood aspect of theater is producing. Very few people understand what a producer does. I get amazing answers when I say, what do you think a producer does? I get crazy. I lecture at Fordham like twice a year for their theater classes, and I talk to them about producing, and it's just like they have no clue. What? There's a producer. There's somebody that organizes this and actually makes this into a business. So yeah. So guys, I encourage you to make this an opportunity for your colleagues to learn a little bit more about the different aspects of theater other than acting. Any other specific goals that anybody has that you'd like to share?
I am on I'm one of the chairs for the finance, admin, and innovation, although that might be slightly shifting soon. But the thing I most am drawn to is the innovation part of that. So I think that with my track record of doing stuff a little off kilter and a little off the beaten path, I think that would only help in just the uniqueness of what YPAC can eventually bring to TRU and what people might be attracted to. So there's a lot of different things that we might be able to do to help people. One of the early things we were talking about is like a writer's circle. I believe Jordan and Ross, you guys were bringing that up. We were talking about like an actor gym, something like that. You have a monologue, you want to come in and work on that monologue with people who will give you constructive criticism. Sure, let's do that. We have a lot of ideas for different things like that, and how keep everyone together. And it is based on that community. It's that community sort of feel that we wanna be open to people coming in.
So I think the stumbling block is continues to be the dividing line. Because Kate mentions the word emerging. Emerging is like one of my favorite words because I consider myself still an emerging. I'm very old. I consider myself still an emerging writer because I haven't really had that big success yet. I had an off-Broadway show once, but I haven't really gotten where I was planning to go. So, but for the purpose of what Camila said before, differentiating yourself and what you offer, differentiating yourself from what TRU offers as an organization. I agree with you, Camila. We offer a lot of the things that could be construed as being for emerging writers or emerging artists. And what you want to do is you want to make yourself a little bit more specific in terms of who you're. And I beg you to do that because I have to tell you, the least represented faces in TRU are the young faces, and I will love you forever if you can bring in a nice community of young artists and young aspiring producers as well. So again, we could go back to the conversation of young at heart, young in mind. But I think it makes it easier to differentiate what you're offering if we say under 40. So pick a number. Pick a number. We'll use it going forward. We don't have to be committed to anything today.
I think I think personally under 40 is a good cutoff point, but then having like a contingency of members who were on the board previous to 40 and having maybe a 4 or 5 year leniency for members of the board. Maybe we can talk about that. So unsure for right now.
Or a plan in action to have someone take over after that and like have a little plan in place, like a what's the word? Not contingency. I don't know. Someone filling in a role after like a retirement or something. I don't know.
I'd call that like a legacy plan or something.
Sure. Yeah. Succession. Yes. Thank you.
Succession.
Thank you.
I'm sitting here completely blanking on it.
Like one of the biggest shows on TV now, and I can't remember it. Great.
It's exactly what we're working on with my board is finding a succession plan for me. Yep, succession would be it. We have a couple questions. Ross, why don't you be a voice of God and come in and
I wanted to
spur a
speak on
conversation.
RK's one, if that's okay, because I saw that one earlier and I wanted to respond to that one.
Let Ross ask it then.
Okay. Yeah. How does social media assist and or put up barriers for artistic creation?
Okay, sweet. Here I go. I think in terms of it's a double-edged sword that there is a lot of benefits and there are some drawbacks. But in my mind, personally, I think there are far more benefits than there are drawbacks. It kind of acts like what IMDb Pro used to be, where any actor, any performer, any writer, or any director can upload samples, or producer, or anybody, or like composer, anybody can directly upload multiple samples of their work, of recordings of what they do, how they perform, etc., and have it all available on a page that comes up just by typing in their name. Or honestly, on mine, I have a QR code on my business card, and it takes you right to it, and it takes you to my website. Which I know the website's different, but social media also helps connect. Like I've booked several jobs and casted several shows just from Instagram. For my last 2 shows, I got all my cast and all the people who came to audition just by posting a couple stories every couple of days, and then got a list and said, send me your email, and then sent it out when it was ready. And that's how I have produced shows. And that's how you find people who are willing to do it for the passion of it too. Like I'm very open and transparent that I can't afford to pay them. But I'll buy them drinks on closing night, which I'm doing tomorrow night with my cast, but you find the community of people who respect your vision, who will look at your page and say, oh, well, I trust them because of how they performed in this scene, or, oh, they wrote this scene that's on their page. Okay, yeah, maybe I will do their script. You know, it's a way for us to sort of present our whole portfolio without having to be like, hey, do you have 10 minutes? Could I get a coffee for you, or buy you a coffee and show you everything on my laptop sometime? Like, it's something that's easier. Some of the drawbacks, I haven't personally felt this, but I have seen people who, like, close friends of mine who have lost jobs due to, one, other auditioners had more Instagram followers than them, so that their name carries more weight, etc. And then other times is that I've seen people who have like a picture of them with a bottle of beer on their Instagram, and they've lost jobs because of that, or they've gotten kicked off of cruise lines or something. Like, sometimes very drastic reactions. So there is always that, you know, there's the intention to be smart about it, and to be smart about what you expose to the world, because sometimes, as cool and as chill theater people are, there's a lot of like administration logistics that you just need to act very professional in certain cases, which I think is a lesson that a lot of young people need to learn. Yeah, so I'll keep advocating for it.
Thank you for saying that, because one of the things that I had an employee like 5 or 6 years ago who posted very brutally honest things on Facebook, and I asked him not to do that, because it reflects on me. It reflects on
Yeah.
Theater Resources Unlimited. So yeah, social media is really tricky. Really tricky, guys. Camila.
Yeah, I agree that I think social media is net positive if used with intention and responsibility. I think, I mean, similar to Jordan, I've had a lot of professional opportunities stem from social media. Although I am, you mentioned mostly Instagram, but I'm also a fan of LinkedIn. My current job at Concord, I applied through LinkedIn and everything. It was thanks to LinkedIn that I got the job. And Instagram is how I made my first connection with Ken Davenport, my work there. And so, yeah, so I do think it's a great tool. I think it's really important also the branding aspect, that it offers the ability to create a brand for yourself and what you do. And I think that's really important, and so much is of how we're perceived is how we present ourselves. And so that's really important. And I think social media offers a cost-effective way of doing that, and you can reach a lot of people. And so, yeah.
So let me ask you another broader question. What are your plans in terms of attracting more young people to TRU and bringing people into YPAC? And are you planning on offering perks for them to be members of YPAC? What are the incentives?
That was something that we were going to talk to you about. We had an idea that we were going to float by you eventually, of talking about, well, to preface this, ever since YPAC has been formed, I have talked to every writer that I already know is super talented, and every writer that I've been impressed with at this festival, every actor that has stood out and said, hey, I'm putting together a network of people who, for these certain reasons, and this theater company and Theater Resources Unlimited and all that. And so, oh, I'm so sorry, my ADHD just won me over. Remind me what the initial question was.
How are you going to bring people into YPAC, into TRU? And you're saying that I'm saying incentives. So you'll talk to me about this, but I'm thinking that maybe YPAC members would be able to get an additional discount on most of our programs or something like that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Or maybe a 10% discount off of your like annual membership fee or something like that.
There'll be I can create a special membership price for YPAC.
That would be great. Yeah, because and then we were also floating with the idea, and by all means, if this is too far, let us know. But people who sign up with that certain YPAC code, maybe like 10% of the funds come to us in terms of fundraising for our events. But that could be something that, if you don't want to talk about that in a public place, totally understood.
It's not that I don't want to. I just need to think it through a little bit. I mean, Yeah, we talked about, yeah, I guess it is something, I guess it is something private that we should talk about.
Great.
How to handle your funds.
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry. We can talk about that at a later date.
Okay. Voice of God, are you still there? Ross?
If it's not
Yeah,
late,
yeah. Sorry.
I wanted to say something also on RK's question about social media, because Camila and Jordan were very, very optimistic about it, and I'm kind of on the middle about it, leaning pessimistic, I think.
All right.
So my views on it is that you need to do it. It's not something that's negotiable. You need to do it. And I see it as a nuisance to do it. I think it takes away from what I'm doing in the room. And I'm speaking it more as a director than a producer. I think it takes away from what I'm doing in the room. I think it diverts attention to where it shouldn't go. I think it takes focus away from what we're doing when we have actors taking TikTok videos all across the room and doing all that. It takes away from what the show is about, takes away from what everything is about. That being said, I have gotten a lot of personal growth and movement and made connections through Instagram. So in that sense, I think it's a huge boon, and I think it's very important in our landscape to be doing it. But it's not negotiable at this point. You need to be doing it, and I think I may sound older than 35, 34 here, but it seems like you don't have a choice, and that's it. There's no other way around it. It feels that way very, very much, and it feels like it's not going in the other direction a little bit. And that's not always necessarily a bad thing, but I find that if I en route to a show, let's say we're a month out, and let's say we post 3 times a week rather than posting once a week, you're going to see that in ticket sales. It's just that's the nature of the beast. So I think that there's a lot of good for it, but I think that it's a distraction, and I think that you're really there to sell tickets for when you're posting stuff. I think that there's a lot of following the media and following what people are doing in the trends, and I think that distracts from what we're really here to do in a lot of ways. So that's my take on it, RK.
I just like to say that if anybody wants to work on getting TRU a better social media presence, I wouldn't stop you.
That's something that is on our agenda at some point. Go ahead, Camila.
Okay.
Just want to say, Andrew, like it seems like a lot of what you're mentioning is like marketing efforts and PR.
Yeah.
And so I think like that work that was being done anyway is just now being channeled through social media. So I think like there's people who enjoy that. So you don't have to do
Oh, no.
anything.
I'm not trying to crap all over or anything like that. And I think that it's
no.
huge,
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I just meant that it's marketing efforts that, were before in a newspaper are now, posting online 3 times a week to
it's
boost
just
ticket sales.
shifted a lot of the focus to that.
And I think there's, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think there's also like minimalist approaches to social media. I only have like 6 posts on my account, and it's still been helpful. I rarely post on LinkedIn, but it's still helpful to make connections. So I think there's like different kind of degrees to which you can like lean into the social media aspect of being a creative professional. And so, like there's minimalist approaches that are more.
We've tried so many different things with it, and like when you're really going down to the nuts and bolts of getting people to look at you, you really need to look at website SEO and like all those like nuts and bolts of what like makes a website go and like what makes Google search for it and everything. And that stuff is so confusing. And it's the stuff of running a theater company that artistic directors shouldn't want to do. And I just think that there's just so many extra steps to do what we're trying to do in the first place.
So I'd like to officially open it up to the room and ask anybody in the room who'd like to ask a question to please do so. You can either turn on your what?
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to ask if Burak has anything he wants to say. I feel like you haven't been
given
the
Burak, you said you had to leave, right?
Sure.
No.
Thank you, guys. I've been listening and taking notes of all the things you're saying. Yeah, if I can take a couple minutes, Bob, before you open the room?
Absolutely.
Wanted to go over my notes and just want to let everybody know that this is one of our earliest meetings. So we're doing a brainstorming live with all of you. So just so everybody know, we're still work in progress. Yes, I'm guilty of raising the question regarding the name, the patron thing, and
Oh, it was you.
that answers your question, and I hope we can form it to a place where we're all comfortable with. And same goes with the title of tonight, The Challenges of Young Professionals Trying to Kickstart a Career. It was just a suggestion. And then mission goals, we're still working on it, but a lot of what you guys all said makes sense. My focus would be on the education side, connecting with a lot of experienced producers of TRU. And I know there are a lot out there. Aside from the classes, if we can have these experienced producers joining us in our events, talking with us, going through process with us, if they can spend an hour or two with us, there are hundreds of members of this group, I think it will help us incredibly. This is part of our growth. We can talk about bringing, we're discussing it, a CPA, entertainment lawyer, stage manager, and those that actually, again, professionals, part of TRU. If you're hiring, please hire us, our young professional artist circle, because that goes, that's one of the ways to uplift the youth, and we can do the same for the next generation. So if you're looking for anyone from an assistant to a photographer to a director's assistant, get in touch with all of us. We can help you. We can make your project better. I assure you, we got the energy, enthusiasm, the youth. So this is why I guess we called young. So on that, the other thing is the age. I agree with everyone. Yes, I think for now, it's good to keep it 40, but not to be obsessed about it. I think our event's going to be open to everyone, but when it comes to board meetings, yes, I think it makes sense that we're on that age bracket. And Bob, one question, because this is something I was talking to Andrew yesterday also. I mean, we need space. What do you think? What the TRU members thinking about? Because I know you guys transitioned to Zoom after the pandemic, but as we're talking about doing live theater, if there's a way of getting the second stage space right now open on the 44th Street, if TRU can get that space, I'm sure we can do amazing things there.
I'd have to change my budget.
So yeah,
I'd have to
that's
rethink my entire budget.
One of the challenges also, and Andrew mentioned as he has a theater company.
Let me just say something about space. TRU, our new offices are at Art New York. And once I settle into my new offices at Art New York, and once I join Art New York as a member organization, there will be space available. I don't know if it's free, but it'll be discounted space available. We can also talk about TRU creating a budget, since you don't have any money to start out with. You have to raise money to, you don't have anything that you can spend right now. So I mean, you can talk to me about whether I can subsidize your whatever you need. I'm still performance space. I'm venue shy because I've gotten so used to 4 years of not having that as an expense. But I do know that we are very good friends with Polaris North, which is a space on 245 West 29th Street. And we might even be able to negotiate some sort of agreement with streaming musical studio space. So there are things that I could talk. Who was it who was talking about how I was reaching out and asking for favors for you? Was it you, Jordan? Yeah, I mean that's still my modus operandi. I just basically get on the phone and try to get favors.
Bob is very good at that.
So we can have that conversation. If you could give me some specifics that you need.
Sure. And just lastly, yes, I think you told me that on the board meeting, March 27, I can, or we, Jordan and I, can bring up the topic of getting certain amount of YPAC members. I think it will be fair if anyone register TRU, thanks to us, because of us, we're bringing them in, and we're planning to bring a lot of young people in this group. If we can fairly get some percentage of that, I think it will make us run much faster. But this is something to be discussed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't want to give you money. It's basically I have to look at the legalities of it.
Understood. Of course.
Okay, it's a little tricky, but we'll come up with an answer. Andrew, your poor virtual hand must be so tired.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because we were talking about when we're a little bit past the topic, but when we're people who want to come into YPAC and people who want to be involved, think of us kind of as one of the big benefits that you can get with us is that we can help be your virtual or in real life Rolodex of any theater professional we can try and get you hooked up with. I had we spoke, Burak, for 45 minutes yesterday, and I gave you the name of Lee, an entertainment lawyer who I got from Bob. So it's all the connections.
Feldshon.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, so Lee helped me make the operating agreement for Out of Bounds Productions when we were doing all the legalities to get ourselves on paper. So yeah, so it's things like that. So the connections that can be made through YPAC and through coming to events that we're going to eventually be holding and things like that. All of those things are huge benefits of what can happen.
Okay, and then another virtual hand pops up. Hello, Jordan.
I was just gonna say, unfortunately, I gotta run right now,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to say thank you all so much for having me, and thank you to Camila and Burak and Andrew for being prepared and for helping me explain our vision here. So that being said, thank you all. I'm gonna run, but I'll drop my email and website in the chat one more time before I go.
Well, thank you, Jordan.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Burak, Camila, and Andrew. If you want to hang out a little bit longer, some of the people in the room might actually want to meet you, but I'm going to say my farewells on YouTube and our podcast. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank my guests who are more than my guests. they're the new lifeblood of TRU. So hopefully you're going to reinvigorate us and help keep us going. And I want to thank my audience, my attendees. Thank you for being with us every week. I appreciate it very much. And I hopefully will have something planned for next Friday and the Friday after. I know what I'm doing March 23rd. Is it the 23rd yet? No, it's the 22nd. I know who my guest is the 22nd. It's the 8th and the 15th that are driving me crazy right now. But check us out online, everyone. TRUonline.org, TRUonline.org. And you can always find out what's coming up in the weeks ahead. If you want to be part of the room, if you want to come in the room and ask questions and be part of the conversation, we welcome you with open arms. Just email me at trunltd@aol.com. That's trunltd@aol.com. And I'll invite you to the Zoom room every week. Be part of us, be part of the community. And if you want to help us pay our bills, we have bills. Believe it or not, we have bills. Then feel free to go to trudonate.com, trudonate.com, and anything you give us will be appreciated. Join us as a member. Join YPAC. We actually I'm gonna have to get that up on my website so that people can join YPAC. So that's it for today, and hope to see you in the weeks to come. Thank you.